Billie Ray Brandt's career is ending, and I'm going to show you why. If we take a look at her projected subscriber base, it's going to dip down by about 30% in a year. If you look at her views, it's going to fall off a cliff as well by next year. It's looking really bad. I mean, this is like a great recession of Billie Ray Brandt. It's disgusting. And maybe, and the thesis of this video will be how her labeling herself as a social political commentator is really the problem, okay? She takes herself too seriously, and it's a joke. It's a joke. The career's a joke. It's not happening. And mind you, who the hell is enough of a D-bag to call themselves a socio-political commentator? I don't even think Ben Shapiro would call himself that, okay? I mean, it's just so stupid. Now, let's look at her Twitter. This video says, "Women, you need to settle." Now, the ironic part is that she's actually married to a guy, faceless white dude. I don't even know who he is. I forgot. But anyway, she's telling people to settle.
This is the result of telling every woman not to settle. It's an idea that sounds empowering, but is actually a trap. Women are so obsessed with not settling that they're not choosing anything. The whole "don't settle" mantra has turned into a permanent state of hesitation.
Now, keep in mind this. If you're married to a guy and you're telling other girls that they need to settle, what does that imply? That you settled for your husband, which makes him a cuck. Because what that means is that there's a more attractive guy, in likelihood thousands of them nearby, that you prefer than him. Now, she could lie and say, well, actually, I didn't settle, but all of you settle. And it's like, first of all, that's very presumptuous, very condescending. And also on top of that, have you noticed that she does this whole like pouring the liquor thing because she's trying to keep people enthralled with the content? Like at this point, I should just have a fidget spinner to keep you guys entertained, right? Because that's what she's implying. And also on top of that, if your channel's failing and you're doing all the extra stuff on top of it, like making this cocktail you'll probably pour down the sink, then what does that tell you? On top of this as well, let's keep in mind that with Billie Ray Brandt, her whole brand has been talking to the camera, and yeah, she cuts every 2 seconds because she can't really string a sentence along. However, it seems like it's not even working. I don't know. It's strange.
This is why women in their 30s are now having children more than women in their 20s, which is
She has no kids, by the way.
causing birth rates to plummet.
And she's 27. She's getting old. She's getting old. The window to have kids is closing. The wall is approaching. She knows all about it.
Women have been sold a lie, and they're never going to find love if they're constantly waiting for the next best option. The longer you chase perfect, the longer you end up alone. Cognac, espresso martini.
Ugh.
So good.
Ugh. She's so like charisma-less. It's actually kind of impressive. Now, gentlemen, this beauty by Billie is labeled, "Yes, I judge women with public social media accounts." Now, the irony is clear. I think she's self-aware enough to know that. Let's see what her point is.
Women shouldn't have public social media accounts. And I might lose a few friends over this one. There's a difference between using social media with purpose and using it to be seen. So if you're running a business or sharing a message, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking.
Okay, so her message in the last video, by the way, I just showed you, is that women shouldn't settle, which again cucks her husband. But that's the reason why she's justifying being on social media, is because she has a message. But the message is to cuck your husband by exposing that you settled for him, basically. Impressive.
Talking about the average girl with a public profile and 3,000 strangers watching her every move. Let's be honest, you leave your page public and work way too hard for those IG-worthy photos because deep down you're hoping someone with status will notice you. And it's not just about men noticing you.
This is such a projection-laden thing to... Oh my god, I can't even handle it. It's crazy. Look at this banger. No amount of money is going to buy a father. So, I mean, when you really pay attention to this, I mean, what a brain-dead take. First of all, who the hell is thinking this? Second of all, no shiz, like clearly, Captain Obvious. Now, this is just a really weird thing to say on the internet, okay? Now, she says, "I always respond the same way when someone says they'll post pictures of their kids online. Would you let a stranger choke the chicken in front of your child?" Which, first of all, why the hell are you thinking that far into it, the analogy, so to speak? Like, what the, like, seriously, that's kind of weird. She has some trauma. She's a freaky person, I think. Anyway, cue stunned silence and affirm no. Then I followed up with, so why is it okay if it happens behind a screen? Okay, so what she's basically saying is that if you post pictures of your kid online, that because maybe some weirdo on the internet does something, that's somehow the problem of the parent, and that the parent should be concerned about that specific person over the internet doing something that they have no control over. Which is stupid. Which is quite frankly stupid, okay? Frankly, it's stupid. I mean, if there's millions of people watching Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone, are you saying they shouldn't have filmed the movie, not had him in the film? Is that what you're saying, Billie? Because that's quite stupid. Do you think Macaulay Culkin has trauma because some weirdo sicko like gay dude in across the country in the 80s did something? I mean, I don't think he cares about that. He probably cares more about the Harvey Weinsteins and other folks like him. And so, I mean, this is just a stupid point. And what makes it all the more dumb is that you're saying this in public. It's unbelievably weird. The context of which is that you're thinking about this like uh, predator situation, and it's kind of concerning that your mind comes to that conclusion. It's kind of it's freaky. Okay, now one person replies and says, "Well, I know that you hold kids to a higher standard of privacy than adults, but don't you know that adults goon to you?" And that's pretty obvious, not me. But she says, "I had this conversation recently, and if anything, becoming a public figure and receiving weekly emails with messages of men JOing to me has made me more aware of the darker realities of the internet." Okay, very, very, very pontificating, very wordy. I don't like this. Anyway, maybe that's why I'm more hardcore about this topic than others. The key difference is that I choose to put my image online, fully understanding the consequences. I know that this comes with the territory, and I want to continue sharing the message. A child cannot make that choice. Okay, that's stupid. Because first of all, I think she's just anti-sex. That's what I think it is. She doesn't have a kid. She's 27. You could chalk it up to hormonal issues or whatever disability she has. However, that's concerning. You're a conservative, allegedly, lady baller, so to speak, and you are still not having kids at a late age. And secondly, uh, what's the problem if some guy goons to you as an adult? Who cares? Honestly, I think no woman cares if some guy in California or Oklahoma goons to them because she's hot. It doesn't matter. Now, you can comment down below what you think about that, but that's my take. And then also, she's saying a parent's role is to protect their child from the dangers of the world. Whoa, you tell me that for the first time. Anyway, and not to expose them to the dangers. Now, what's the danger in somebody doing something like I just don't understand. Like, yeah, there's pervs on the net. We understand this. However, what danger comes from somebody doing something? You know, uh, some people have made gay comments towards me. If they're like, "Oh, you're so handsome, I wish I could do," it's like, do I really care? No, I don't. And I just don't know if that's the hill to die on. That we shouldn't have kids in front of movie screens, shouldn't have them in shows because some 1/10 of 1% of people are going to be into that stuff in a weird way. Now she keeps digging herself a deeper and deeper hole. This guy says, "What are your thoughts on the father-son duo? You know, the Costco guys. Is that immoral?" Now Billie says, "Millions of viewers tune into their content. You cannot convince me that there isn't one sicko J-O-ing to that child. One is enough for me to never post a child online." Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really? Somebody's gooning to Big Justice, number one, this fat kid. But secondly, do you think Big Justice himself even cares? Because I mean, it's such a stupid argument, man. This is unbelievably dumb. Anyway, to wrap up this topic, she basically says at this in this reply that she's gonna err on the side of having no minors in entertainment 9 times out of 10. Okay, so say goodbye to Home Alone 1, 2, who cares about 3 or 4? And I mean, this is just goodbye Disney Channel. What are your Billy? What are your future kids, if you even have any, by the way? What are they gonna watch if you get rid of TV shows with kids in it? I mean, come on. Now, I bring up this 2-year-old video. It's called Dating Hypocrisy or whatever. This has Michael Knowles on it, has a couple 100,000 views. And I think it's a good point to make that these sort of videos could have propelled her to having a sustainable career that's thus far has only sustained her about 2 or 3 years because her stuff is dying. And aside from that, if she had any modicum of talent, you do not think that the Daily Wire would sign her immediately? Right? She's a pretty face. She's relatively young, especially 2 years ago, and she could have done her own wannabe Brett Cooper routine. But in fact, she is not on the Daily Wire because she doesn't have the talent to sustain content that's longer than 30 seconds, maybe a minute and a half when you're lucky. And so it just is a great point to make, I think, that honestly, she does not have what it takes to make it in the social media bracket. And that's too bad. Another great example of her not having talent. If you look at the Make Me a Sandwich podcast, which is a super cringe and gay title, by the way, like super on the nose, very corny. Hate to see it. However, this podcast has not had an episode in over a year. Now, have I seen a single second of a single podcast of hers? I don't think so. However, you can see that the views aren't there. If you look at what goes on with the views on these videos, you'll notice that the one with the most amount of views is actually going to be the one that covers behind the scenes of whatever podcast, which is a bigger name than her brand, obviously. And then aside from this, it has less than 3,000 subscribers, which makes it about half the size of my channel even. And so it's like Dollisto, and it's too bad. And her husband tried to be in these podcasts, apparently. That must have not have been too much of a charisma well to siphon off of. And so it's pretty evident that they're both kind of felt it. All right, now this video is called How to Attract a Girl. Let's see.
To play the game. And there is one thing you can do that will make you 93% more likely to attract a woman. And it doesn't require 6 months in the gym and a 6-figure promotion. Most guys are getting rejected before they even open their mouths because of what they're wearing. How you're dressed is a woman's first impression of your value. And if you don't have a classy look, you are immediately at a disadvantage. Call it unfair.
Have you ever seen a frat guy? What an imbecile thing to say. Are we picking up women in 1875? Is this the swinger era, or what do you call it? The flapper era, the 1920s? Stupid.
But vibes are the only thing you have to go off of when you're swiping or making a snap decision about someone. And your wardrobe is the ultimate vibe.
Oh, sorry.
And your wardrobe is the ultimate vibe setter. For example, an anime t-shirt makes me think you haven't seen the sun in 8 months.
That's what your fans wear, buddy.
Long, baggy shorts make me think you haven't seen the gym in years. And a gold chain with no real job makes me question if I'm gonna make it out of this relationship alive. So
How would you know? How would you know if a guy has a job if you're only looking at him? That was the whole premise of the. Okay, she's an idiot.
if this sounds like you might be killing your chances before you even get started. But here's the thing. You don't have to guess what works or spend hours figuring it out. Because that's where Stately comes in. It's a personalized style.
The grift that keeps on giving. I mean, I don't blame you, honestly, because that ad revenue must not be too high nowadays now that the views are depressingly low.
Subscription that takes the guesswork out of looking good. So each month you get
Okay, now this is her husband, I believe, modeling. He might catch some strays.
selected outfits that fit your
Aura. Also, he's balding. He's balding, by the way. Jesus, look at this, bro. Just shave it off. It's getting bad. Now, I'd bother looking at the Norwood chart to see where he's at, maybe a 2. However, in a couple of years, it seems like it's all going to be gone anyway. So, damn, that's brutal. Poor guy.
style. So you can stop overthinking it
He's probably made more passionate love to the dog than he has to Billie. Imagine.
and start showing
I mean, she isn't pregnant, so maybe the sex life with the dog is better than with Billie. I mean, just think about it, okay?
your style. So you can stop overthinking
Look up. I would say he's passionately looking into the dog's eyes, but his eyes have no life in them.
it and start showing up as the best dressed guy in the room. Everything is yours to keep for one low price and you'll save 50% off of premium brands. Plus there's free
What kind of premium brand gives a 50% off referral code to a nobody like her?
shipping and exchanges, and you could pause, skip, or cancel anytime. It is an
So for brokies, cancel the shipment. Hey, yo, cancel it.
easy, no stress way to upgrade your style so you can start attracting the woman you deserve. If you want to
Shit. I was getting no hose, and then I just started wearing these clothes from her Temu offshoot, and it just worked wonders. And now I'm swimming. I look like Hugh Hefner now. That's ridiculous. Okay, this one says, men pick up my bags. First of all, what a bad attitude. Okay, C-U-N-T-Y sort of attitude. Nasty woman. Jesus.
men pick up my bags for me. I was
No.
traveling solo recently and got my duffel bag stuck in an overhead compartment. I am barely
A duffel bag? You don't have checked baggage? What, are you broke? Were you on a Frontier airline flight, by the way? Were you on Spirit?
5 feet tall with little to no muscle mass.
I met her in person. I forgot. Yeah, she tried to press me. She's like, I'm a real human being too or something. She was like saying I was callous for the way I was covering her on YouTube, which is true. I'm like an asshole. Like I'm a really bad person, but still, come on, man. What a softie.
And I was backing up the entire plane while I fought for my life to get this bag out.
Oh, so dramatic.
After nearly dislocating
I almost got my 2 pounds of makeup a little bit scratched or something.
my shoulder and finally exiting the plane, the image that was seared
You dislocated your shoulder? Dude, that is such a bimbo moment.
in my mind was the multiple men that watched this go down. Now,
Yeah, it's hot. Just to see you struggle, let's go.
I know what you're thinking. Why
Suffer.
didn't you just ask them for help? Well, the thing is, a few years ago, I didn't have to, but here we are. I get that
What does that
men
mean?
feel like they can't do anything nice anymore without
Are you saying that, like, in 2022, that men used to do stuff for you and now they don't? Why? Because you're getting old or something? Can they just sense, like, the infertility coming through or
it
something?
being misinterpreted? Sure, a lot of guys have probably been shut down one too many times, but at some point,
Not me.
we have to ask, are we really better off like this? In this fun little standoff where women don't want to ask and men don't want to offer, and we all get to watch me nearly lose a limb in the process.
Oh, come on, princess.
The truth is, we actually need each other for things. Not in some grand, dramatic way, just in the simple, everyday things where it just makes life easier when we help each other out. Not forced, not transactional, not with ulterior motives. Just because we want to connect, because it makes life better, because it's what makes this whole dynamic actually work. So men, pick up my bags for me.
No,
And
bitch.
ladies, let them. By the way, creme brulee.
I mean, every time she gets on a flight now, she's going to be dislocating one shoulder than the other. And then by the time she's 30, she might tear her limb off, literally, like Piccolo. Jesus, it's tough. It's tough. This one's another doozy. She just keeps serving him up like every third video is like another like retarded take. Now, take no insult to the retards as they're probably two IQ points higher than her easily. And I mean, probably standard deviations at this point. However, this one's called Men Like This Are the Problem. Okay.
So Myron Gaines tweeted about Pamela Anderson's no makeup look with women aged like milk, especially white blondes. Really? This is what you're bringing to the table? Is anyone else just getting exhausted by these pointless, repetitive talking points? Pamela Anderson isn't out here trying to say she's as beautiful as she was at 20. She's simply
What a stupid obfuscation. That has nothing to do with the point. Yeah, no shit.
using her influence to encourage minimizing makeup.
Okay, well, that influence hasn't influenced you, hasn't it? Okay, the 2 pounds are still there. I bet 2% of her weight when she goes on the scale is from makeup. Okay, Sephora is really just feasting off of her, I think.
At this point, it is clear. Some men online are so desperate to bash women that they'll twist anything into an excuse to talk about the wall. You just needed an
She's just scared of the wall and she sees it. You know, when she was 25 a few years ago, 24, you could say, oh, you know, I got 6 years. Now it's what, less than 3? It's looking tough. It's looking tough, man. She's getting old. She's old. I'm 22. I'm over the hill as well. But the difference is that in 3 years she'll be 30. I'll be 25. It's gonna be great.
excuse to drag out your 15 repeated talking points, didn't you? If you actually want women to change, you're going to need them on your side. But how do you plan on doing that when all you do is bully and disrespect them? There are
Suffer.
plenty of women who agree that feminism has gone too far, that masculinity is important and gender roles have value. But guess what? They don't want
Okay. And sell me a bag of tallywhackers. Like, no, duh.
to be associated with people who demean them at every turn. You think that you're furthering your movement, but all you're doing is isolating yourself in a dark, angry corner of the internet where no one wants to follow you.
I mean, says the person that's falling off a cliff on YouTube, okay? Your dark corner of the internet's forthcoming, okay? Jesus.
Let alone help you. Respect goes a long way. Maybe try it sometime. Because right now, you're pushing away the very people that you need. So Myron
I'm so happy roasting this chick. It's really, really gratifying. Okay, this is her story about meeting Jordan Peterson, okay? Now, this is not so much about her, but on her boyfriend. I now learned it's the boyfriend, not husband. Not married yet, that's kind of curious. However, this is funny.
Imagine standing face to face with Jordan Peterson. That was my boyfriend and I a few weeks ago. I knew this was really his moment, so I let him have the conversation while I stood by and listened, and in one sentence,
What a cuck queen.
my perspective shifted completely.
Ain't nobody trying to talk to your boyfriend, though, okay? It's okay, first of all, I don't think Jordan even knew who the hell you were. But even if he did, he'd be like, let me talk to you. Yes, little you. And not the boyfriend. Who the hell wants... What?
My boyfriend told Dr. Peterson, I hope I can have an impact on the world like you do. Without hesitation, Dr. Peterson replied, well, get your act together and get out there. And that's when I realized, men don't just need support. They need direction, inspiration, and...
What a cuck. Wait, he just took that? Like, you're a 30-year-old man or something, and you're accomplished in that you're about to get married to a girl that has no eggs and has a dying YouTube channel. So, well up there. And you just take that to the chin, huh?
realized, men don't just need support. They need to get your act together and get out there. And that's when...
So, again, grown man goes up to this dude like, hey, what's up? And then he's like, get your act together and get out there. Wow. What a D-bag Peterson is, but we're not surprised by this.
I realized, men don't just need support. They need direction, inspiration, and empowerment. Why let the challenges of today convince you to back down? Men have faced hardships in every era, and each generation has adapted, grown, and thrived. Jordan Peterson reminds us that we are capable of so much more than we allow ourselves to believe. If you're ready to
I think she wants to fuck Jordan Peterson more than her boyfriend, apparently.
take ownership of your life, I cannot recommend Jordan Peterson's Mastering Life collection on Daily Wire Plus enough.
Oh, it's paid promotion. Yeah, okay. See, I'm a mark, okay? I'm an idiot. I didn't get the grift. She doesn't care about Jordan. She just cares about the clout. She just cares about this promotion.
This collection features series that explore crucial topics like masculinity, mental health, marriage, and finding purpose, equipping you with the tools to overcome obstacles and build a meaningful future.
She's reading a script. Come on, man. Pathetic. Okay, now this one's interesting. This one's called I'm Tired of Short Incels. Whoa, buddy.
Really tired of short incels. Not to be confused with short kings. I'm dating a guy
Short king in and of itself is like an epithet. You know, it's like calling a black person it's diminutive, to say the least. A short king is said ironically. Hey, short king. You would, like, if you respected a short person, you wouldn't even bother calling him short king. It's like if I said, hey, tall king, it's like, that's what? Cornball?
guy who's 6'2" as a 5-foot woman. I've been attacked and called a hypocrite for doing so because apparently being 5
Yeah, you are actually. Yes, actually.
foot, I'm obligated to reject my boyfriend and reserve myself for the shorter men that have it rough in the dating world. Let me
We don't watch. I'm not that short, but still. Come on, man.
Clear something up for those that believe this. If a tall guy pursues me and I want to date him, I am under zero obligation to sacrifice my opportunity to do so because I owe opportunities to shorter men. That's literally dating communism. It's an
She just keeps getting bullied from everyone. It's like the people that are watching her dislocate her shoulder at the airport, on the airplane rather. Frontier Airlines, by the way, no docs. It was the cheapest flight available. Imagine. Anyways, yeah. Why not date a short person? Maybe he'll have more charisma than your husk of a boyfriend. Okay, guy has no aura. I haven't heard him speak before. I think, but still. In fact, I'm pretty sure that when she pressed me IRL at America Fest or wherever it was called, Amfest in Phoenix, like 2 years ago, the boyfriend just stood there to the side, not saying anything, not defending her honor, which in and of itself was kind of based. However, not alpha at all. Plus, like he was like swole and like could have kicked my ass too, and he didn't. High impulse control, low libido, they go together, don't they?
equity agenda. Acknowledging that height is a factor to be sympathetic to in dating is completely different from insisting that people make sacrifices to make your life easier.
Suffer.
I really didn't think that I'd ever have to explain that, but here we are.
She's so self-righteous, so annoying. And that basically wraps up the video. That's our, seventh installation on the Billie saga. If she wants to respond to me or if she wants to do an interview debate, that'd be great. Because honestly, it's nothing personal. I just think she's just a content mine. So comment down below what you thought about the video. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Adios.